Hello, welcome to our educational channel Savad, the podcast where we dive into the real stories of the international students around the world. Today's episode is all about the expectations versus reality, specifically for Azerbaijan students studying international law in UK. Our guest today is Alirahman Bahramov, the student who studied last year in foundation, successfully completed foundation and was accepted to the University of London City and now studying international law in UK. Please introduce yourself.
Of course.
Okay.
Well, where can I begin? My name is Alirahman Bahramov. I currently study in the UK. I study international law and I study in City University of London, as Ms. Besti had informed us. And I'm 18 years old, and I really hope to have a bright future ahead while studying in the UK. What else can I say, really?
Okay. And what inspired you to study international law, and why did you choose UK?
That's a very good question. So what inspired me generally was my brother, and he studied criminal law actually within the UK. So growing up around 13, 14 years old, I was quite inspired by my brother, and especially what he was able to accomplish by being a criminal lawyer and a prosecutor. So throughout my experiences of seeing my brother go through the stages of his own university career, his own foundation career, or in general work career, work life, it intrigued me. And honestly, I've never been so inspired to work as anything else but a lawyer in my life.
Okay, I see. Before you moved to London, yes, what were your expectations and what was the reality when you moved to London? And what picture have you just had in your mind of what university would be like?
Okay, so beforehand, my expectations of London was actually the idea of me going through my studies really easily and honestly just being able to complete coursework and exams with such ease and having the time of my life, meeting new friends, going and exploring different types of career opportunities I can build for myself in the UK. However, the reality is that it's not quite as easy as I thought it would be because the coursework is actually very demanding and challenging. On top of that, the exams are even worse. They're very challenging.
Were there moments when you said that enough is enough?
Oh yeah, definitely. There were moments where I was like, you know what, I'm done, I'm giving up. But I always remember that my brother, who inspired me to even select this as a career opportunity and overall made me be the person who took the decision in my life to take charge and go ahead and do law. I was like, I'm not giving up.
But not criminology, yes?
No, criminology, no, thank you. I was more set on international law, personally, and the idea of international law, or simply business law, so commercial law in essence, was very intriguing to me because my sister, who is actually a lawyer as well, she works in the commercial aspect of the
so deep down
law.
You're coming from the family of lawyers,
yeah,
yes?
family of lawyers.
Okay. So, and now how do you feel? Do you have these professional kind of arguments? Or they are all studied in UK also?
Yeah, all of them studied in the UK. My brother and my sister studied in the UK. And yes, we definitely do have our professional arguments.
Do you think that it helped you? That it's one thing that you're the first lawyer in the family and it's different when there are already your brother, sister already
absolutely.
Studied and
oh yeah, absolutely. If you start off as the first lawyer in your family, it's way more difficult than what you would expect because you don't have any sort of guidance at home to help you or give you the materials that are going to be beyond necessary than what the university expects you to read. However, in my current circumstances, I'd actually say I'm quite I'm lucky, and to my benefit, I'm able to acquire textbooks that are actually going to help me attain a higher legal knowledge than most of my classmates will.
And is the teaching style different? Was it
The
something
teaching
new
style
for you because you are coming from international schools? Yes, maybe was very different for you when
I might say from my own high school that I studied in Azerbaijan, it was if we compare my high school to university, it was way different. However, when I took the foundation course to take a step ahead and ensure that I'm prepared for university, that definitely helped me out. And because of my foundation skills that I had acquired, I was able to easily go to university and understand every single aspect of writing essays or just general coursework or exams.
So the requirements, the deadline is all was, so you already...
Oh yeah, deadlines are way more strict. Just as I expected in my foundation year, actually. It was way more strict though. And on top of that, you are able to access a lot of resources though in university. Compared to foundation, you're also able to access a lot of resources. However, in university, you're able to go up and speak to professors that are actually teaching you, which are going to benefit you a lot, because if you're capable of communicating with your professors, you're going to understand the topic way much easier.
I see. Are there many Azerbaijan students studying international law? Let's say not only in your university, and do you have some contacts with them or some links with them? Yes,
I do have contacts with many Azerbaijani students that study law within the UK. However, unfortunately not as much as I would hope in my own university. I am capable of having contacts such as individuals in Queen Mary, or I know a couple of individuals also from Cambridge actually, which I've been introduced to by a long time friend of mine who already works in the UK as a prosecutor, so in the Crown Prosecution Service. So yeah, no, I'm able to get connections. I definitely say that. But for individuals that wish to study law in general and going into it for the first year, you're not going to be able to have as much connections as you hope. But that's something very easily that you can resolve, and that's something you can resolve very easily actually.
But not many students they are choosing international law or from Azerbaijan.
No, Azeri students don't usually go for law or international law. As far as I'm concerned, obviously, I'm not 100% sure. I do know some individuals that actually went for it. So as far as I'm concerned, again.
And why?
Oh, this aspect of law is difficult. It's going to stress you out. It's going to lead you to depression or whatever, let's be honest.
A lot of materials you have to cover.
There are a lot of materials, however, you just need to have the patience, honestly. It's not even about motivation, it's about patience, and it's about the will to learn. If you don't have the will to learn, or if you don't have the patience, I highly doubt that law would be a good career choice of yours.
Yeah, I can understand. And what is the life out of the classroom? Was it
Could you repeat that question?
for you? Yes. What is the life out of the classroom? Was it difficult for you to adapt to London, or
personally,
it's before you visited it like a guest, like a tourist? Now you are a resident of London.
I've had previous experiences of being a resident in the UK, so it's not that big of a difference for me personally. Obviously, for those viewing the podcast, will think different, but if they don't have the same circumstances as me. However, for me personally, even having to adapt to the university lifestyle and getting friends in university, it was quite difficult because everyone's older than you. And as a 17-year-old,
Was there a cultural shock for you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was more of a, instead of it being a cultural shock, rather than my friends inviting me out to the pub to go get a Guinness or get fish and chips, for example, I was completely fine with that. I was like,
because
wonderful.
I know you as a person who is fond of life, who likes to enjoy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
But the only issue I genuinely had, which I want to address, is the fact that when I entered into university, I was 17 years old. So therefore, whenever I tried to communicate with someone, they would usually be at least 3 to 4 years older than me, which would kind of cause a barrier, because individuals would think, oh,
because
he's just...
Azerbaijan students, they are very young usually, especially international law.
Absolutely.
It's usually the people with experience studying this. And in your, let's say, group, or are there many international students, or?
In my group, in my personal friend group, my personal friend group consists of mainly, actually, just pretty much British people. It's just
British people.
Yeah, they're just all British. I don't really have that many Azeri friends in the UK. Again, due to my university not really having as much people that are Azeri within my course, at least. There are Azeris in my university which I would love to meet. However, I still haven't had the chance to, unfortunately, come across them.
And let's put this kind of question. Can you just remember one thing that you love? For example, can you just retell about this? One thing you love and one thing that you found very challenging for yourself?
Love about what, in essence?
It could be love about, let's say, general life, studying. Is different. You're not in Azerbaijan, you're now
okay.
in London.
I got you.
And as you said that you went through the cultural shock, and cultural shock, what's it? Three usually steps. It's first, it's something you love everything, then you're in depression, and then you're used, yes?
Yeah, the adaptability,
Now,
I
tell
agree.
me that, what one thing that you loved from all these
From the
three
get-go.
steps, yes, going through, and one thing that was challenging for you? Food could be teaching style, could be friends, could be relationships with people, a lot of things.
So,
yes.
what was difficult
Lifestyle.
for me? What was difficult for me was definitely making friends in the UK, especially because I'm
You're
more
a very
conservative.
social person.
I am
know
a social
that.
person, but sometimes I am conservative on who I select.
Yeah.
For example, to be my friend, because many of the individuals I know in the UK aren't exactly going to be fit to actually go to the library with me to study. Again, I'm not insulting anyone. I haven't said any names, but many of the people I've met in the UK, I would not really be friends with them.
Why?
But
Lifestyle difference?
Lifestyle differences definitely, because
Not understanding you.
I'm a very sociable person. I'd love to
Yeah.
go and go to parties, go to social events. That's not an issue for me. I'd absolutely love to do that. And
Or they are reluctant to make friends with the international students.
no. Definitely not an incident like that, thankfully. But as far as I'm concerned, one of the individuals I can mention, for example, he was very keen on simply just going to parties and living a social lifestyle and not actually studying whatsoever. So that kind of gave me a hesitating factor to maybe I shouldn't really be friends with this guy. So examples like this, for example. But I do have, again, many British friends there. That is because thankfully I've adapted and actually made friends. But when I first went to the UK to start studying, it was very difficult for me because I couldn't find any single friend for me. And it was fine. My brother and my sister, obviously, since they were international students, they were able to advise me that it's not really big of an issue, focus on studying. So that's exactly what I did.
So one thing that you loved is, what is the one thing that you loved?
Okay, I'll put it into perspective
That
for you.
you're on your own, no parents, no one around, and you are just now a big boy and doing what you would like to do.
Big boy. I love exploring. I love adventuring, and I've went to cities. So as I mentioned, this is something I love. I went to cities like Manchester. I've been to Birmingham. I've been to Coventry as well.
So you traveled a lot.
Yeah, I traveled a lot. And I went to Edinburgh and I went to Glasgow. Very beautiful, especially Edinburgh and Glasgow. I love them. And well, Manchester was quite nice as well. Birmingham, it was nice, but I didn't stay for too long.
Changed a lot.
It has changed a lot, and I was like, maybe it isn't such a good idea to stay there. But anyway, going back to the points, I love adventuring. I do love adventuring very much, and I also like making new friends, actually, because obviously living in Azerbaijan, you have friends of yours that are going to be Azeri, and you're not going to really be able to see different types of people, for example. Because most of your friends in Azerbaijan, for example, they'll invite you to go out for a tea and stuff like that. But in England, we don't drink tea. We go straight to the pub. So that's, that's the difference, actually. Yeah, and they do have a very big, idea of being quite friendly to international students, especially those who look lost or that are a bit uncomfortable. So when
You are not the person who can
no,
look lost.
no.
Very far from
I simply went up to them. I simply said, hey, listen, I'm an international student from Azerbaijan. I want to be friends with you. You look like a cool guy. And they were like, yeah, no issue. So that's how we became friends, man.
And what was challenging for you?
So the challenging thing was studies, actually, because it was way more concentrated on the aspect of get the deadlines right and make sure that your work is efficient as much as you can. So that's something that I had to work on in terms of deadlines, because efficiency is not an issue for me. The deadlines, however, was not only were the deadlines reduced significantly from what I expected, because in foundation year, for example, I remember the deadlines were quite strict, however, not as strict as I would have thought in university. Obviously with minor differences, not major differences, just minor differences. Obviously it correlates to which subject you're doing. Obviously those who study medicine, it's going to be way more difficult and much more strict.
And do you, nowadays it's very, many people saying that there are these kind of jobs that very soon will be replaced by artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence.
And there are not, will be required a lot of lawyers or maybe these. Do you agree with these, or do you think that?
Artificial intelligence will replace everything if you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
however, I personally think, in my opinion, that artificial intelligence cannot replace anything. No. You will need lawyers because I don't think anyone will trust a robot to actually do their to do their legal cases, as far as I'm concerned. Maybe just give out legal practical knowledge, but apart from that, I don't know. But again, if AI does replace the world, in my opinion, it's going to cause an absolute catastrophe, and people are going to have a lot of wars.
Still, we need lawyers.
We need lawyers. We need doctors. We need educators. We cannot simply give up on the fact that we need human educators, human doctors, or human lawyers, as we mentioned, because if we give our entire life to AI, obviously AI, if you look at it from this perspective, let me give you a nice perspective. ChatGPT can make mistakes. It is simply written below that ChatGPT can make mistakes. It even informs us that it is not ready.
Make mistakes?
Obviously,
the back there is maybe human who is,
possibly. We'd have to consult OpenAI for that, but again, I wouldn't trust simply ChatGPT or any sort of AI, for example, that's going to help me out with a legal case, because I know if ChatGPT makes a mistake without any sort of proof, an individual reading it, an actual human being reading the civil case, or for example, a report that I've submitted, then it's going to be a catastrophe.
You'll be easily in prison.
Well, not in prison. It's just not. I'm not going to win the case. And obviously, as a lawyer, I want to win the case.
Okay, I see. So, but you are using ChatGPT while you're studying?
So I do utilize ChatGPT while I'm studying, but only to a certain extent. We are not allowed to use it for everything, but we are allowed to use it when we're trying to, for example, make notes, or when we're researching something. I want to make a good list of notes, for example, or let's say, for example, when I researched Magna Carta. When I was researching Magna Carta, I used ChatGPT to make a full list of notes, and because of those notes, I was actually able to do quite well on my test.
And tell me, and what are you planning in future? Are you planning to stay in UK, or you will come back and make your contribution into the Azerbaijan lawyer's life, let's say?
So let me put it this way. Let me put it this way. I do have a set goal in staying in the UK. Obviously, I would like to work in the UK. However, that does not mean I will come back to Azerbaijan and give my own set of contributions or set up my own.
I think that even staying in UK doesn't mean that you are just refusing from your motherland. You can make your contribution working in UK, more promoting Azerbaijan. It's
that is true.
Like
that
this,
is true.
Yes. That's why sometimes people saying that no, it's not patriotic. Why you're staying there? Come back to it.
It has absolutely nothing to do with an individual being patriotic if they don't wish to stay in Azerbaijan. That's completely ridiculous. Because if, as an Azeri citizen, you have the right to go anywhere you want in this life, and you shouldn't be strictly bound to the quote-unquote motherland just because it's your motherland. Obviously, there to a certain extent, right? With respect, I love Azerbaijan. Everyone loves Azerbaijan. However, that does not mean I should simply stay and not explore opportunities that I have. Let me put it this way.
Yeah, because very often we are proud of some let's say Azerbaijan famous people who are not living in Azerbaijan but working around the world because they're
promoting Azerbaijan, and they're promoting that in Azerbaijan we have such educated individuals that are actually traveling around the world, and that is a very good thing if you ask me.
And what will be your message to current students, current applicants who are dreaming to study let's say not just in UK but
anywhere in the world,
anywhere internationally? What message will you give to them?
Okay, process is going to be tough it's not going to be easy to adapt. And as an international student, you will have some trouble in the beginning, but it shouldn't last too long and you'll be completely fine. Obviously, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, it's going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. That's your own journey. You're going to see. But I wish you the best of luck. So,
thank you very much for being with us. Thank you for your interesting ideas and sharing your ideas with us.
Of course, my pleasure.
And with future students who are going to study internationally, globally around the world. Okay. Thank you very much. That was Alirahman Bahramov, who was today with us, student of City University of London. Thank you.
Yeah.